Hi everyone and welcome back. In this last video we will just finish our PDF cracker, and I just found a little mistake in our last video. Here should be not mass but max, and here should be max, like that. So yeah, now we need to actually define a main function. And in this main function, we will use something like argparse. So let's actually import this, import argparse, and I will show you now why we need this. And actually here should be not defined, but if name is equal main, and here will be our actually parser. So let's use parser. So let me first of all explain what parser is. If you used actually any tools before, you can remember that there is something like -h and actually something like that, so help menu. So this parser actually in Python is using for actually this help menu, and not only for help menu but to make our life easier. So we will actually, without this, actually with this actually parser, we will be able to create something like, for example, Python 3. So to use our program like Python 3, yeah, our script .py, and then we will be able to use something like -c for characters, and here specify characters, minus word list for word list, and specify path to word list. Without all of this stuff, we will not be able to use this. So that's why we need parser, to make our life easier and actually to get help menu. So let's actually create this parser, and the parser is equal argparse. So we will use argument parser. Oops, I just misclick. Argument parser here, and we will make a description here. So, and let's create a description. For example, decrypt password protected PDF file. Let's say like that. And now let's use actually our parser. So it's pretty used to use. It's actually pretty easy to use. So parser, and here should be add argument. And our first argument that we will take from our user, as you remember, before we use something like input to take information from our user, yeah? But now we will use arguments with parser to take actually something from our user. And the things that we should take as not required, but actually we need to take this as required. So without this, our program will not work. It's PDF file. So PDF file, and our help menu for this will be actually help is equal, oh my god, I just didn't delete this. So, and here we will specify something like path to the password protected PDF file. Yeah, good help menu, I think. So now we will use parser, add argument, and now the things that we should do, it's a word list. Yeah, we need to ask about word list in our user as optional. So actually our user can actually use generate passwords on the fly. So now we will use something like W for word list, but now we will specify, for example, dash word list here. Yeah, so our user can use either W or is a word list. And actually our help menu will be like path to the passwords list file, like that. And let's say default is none here. So default, we don't have default path to our actually word list. And the next argument that we will take from our user, it will be dash g, let's say dash g, and actually dash generate. And actually, let's say, so actually our user now can choose he wants to use word lists or generate passwords. And actually we will use something like action is equal store true. So we will store this, and our help menu will be generate passwords on the fly. So next, parser add argument, and our argument is mean, so mean length, and let's say mean length, and the type is equal integer, and help menu is equal minimum length of password to generate. And let's say our default is 1. Our next argument is the same thing, max, and max length, and type is equal integer. So why do we use actually integers? Because we need to make sure that our actually, when we are specifying something like arguments, I don't understand why we have a mistake here. I think I just missed a comma here. Yeah. So as you know, min and max length is an integer, so we will put a number. And to make sure that our program will not crash after this, because our program takes input as a string, we will convert this actual string into an integer. And that's why do we use this. And our default one means that if our user will not specify a minimum length, it will start our generation from 1 character as default. So now help maximum length oh my god, I cannot, of password to generate. And let's say default is 3. So pretty easy. And the last 3 things that we need to actually specify characters as argument and max workers. So parser, add argument, and here is something like char set, and let's say like that, and let's say here just a c, and here is comma, here is comma, and type is equal string, and help menu is characters to use for password generation, like that. And now our default, we will use something like string. As you remember, we just imported string here, and it will help us to actually make a default characters for us. So we will use string, and we will use ASCII letters. So we will use letters as default. We will use string and actually digits, yeah, and plus string punctuation. So that's it. That's how we will create a default characters for us using string. As you can see, here is letters, digits, and punctuation. So now the last thing, parser, add argument, and our actually max workers and type is equal, I can see here, oh yeah, it's okay. Type is equal to integer, and help menu is maximum workers of parallel threads. So, and our default is 4. So pretty easy. So now we will make our actually args is equal to parser. So to make our code a little bit easier, and parser parse arg. So now we need to actually, as you remember, we have something like passwords here, and the thing is we need to actually take those passwords from somewhere, and we need to actually make arguments to generate or use word lists in our program. So now if args generate, we will use, oops, I forget about this. So we will use passwords actually, and we will generate passwords. Yeah, as you remember, we will use this argument. So if our argument is generate, we will use this argument to actually start our generate passwords function. Yeah. And now we need, as you remember, here is our arguments. And now we need to actually specify here our arguments from our actually parser to make our function works. And now the things that we need to use args, and we will use char set and args minimum length, yeah, and args maximum length. As you remember, as you can see, 3 arguments here, 3 arguments here. So characters, min length, and max length. Yeah. As you can see, we're taking those arguments from here. So char set, min length, and max length. And now to make our program show us a progress, we need to use total passwords. Oops. and we will find a sum. So we will use sum function, one, for anything in generate passwords functions with arguments char set. It's pretty easy to make a mistake here. So args min length and args max length. So yeah, and that's how we will use generate passwords function. And now else if args is word list. So if our user wants to use word list, we will use passwords and load word list. As you remember, our load word list function is here. So we'll use this function here. And we will use arguments and actually word list as our argument. So as you remember, we are taking only one argument here, and it's word list file. So we will take our word list file from our user here. Yeah. And actually, we will show total passwords, and we will find the sum of total passwords as 1 for anything in load word list arguments word list. Yeah, that's it. And everything else will mean that we are not using our program correctly. So we will make a description for our user that he must to use word list or generate something. So either word list must be provided, or generate must be specified, as you can see here. So yeah, and we will exit from our program as 1. So it will make sure, so if our user didn't use or word list or generate passwords, yeah, so it will just print this message for him and exit from our program. And now we will use decrypted passwords and decrypt PDF, as you remember here, yeah. And we will use our arguments. So args PDF file, args, or actually not args, because we have only here. So we will use passwords. Yeah, so either this or this. And total passwords. And actually, I think that's it. Or actually, we had here max workers. Yeah, I forget about max workers. So args max workers. So max workers, and yeah, that's it. And the last thing, if decrypted PDF, so if our decrypted not function but password and like that. So if we found out actually our password, it will print PDF decrypted successfully with password, and let's use actually F here, and we will use decrypted password. Everything else we will print unable to decrypt PDF, password not found. So yeah, we just finished, and if we don't have any issues here, we should be able to run it correctly. So let's try our program. Let me just delete here some of the terminals. And let's cd to our PDF directory, and actually we will use Python 3 and cracker.py. Let's make a mistake, so we will not specify any arguments to make sure that our print statement works. So yeah, as you can see, here is usage of this, and actually usage cracker, yeah, cracker.py error PDF file. Okay, so Python 3 cracker.py-h, so for help, and as you can see, we have here help menu for us. That's what parser did for us, actually. As you can see, help menu. So W or word list, yeah, is using for word list, and here we have description, so path to the passwords list file. As you can see here, we just made this. So yeah, and let's try actually our program. So make sure that your decrypted password, oh sorry, not decrypted password, but your decrypted actually password protected PDF file is in the same directory, or because it will be much easier, or it can be actually in another directory. Just specify a correct path to your actually PDF file. So actually, I don't really remember what we did with our files, so I don't remember a password for him. So let's try. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, but not really sure, and that can be a problem. So let's try. So Python 3 cracker.py, and we need to specify our actually document. So let's specify document 3.pdf, yep, our PDF file, and let's use our generate actually generate function. So -g to generate min length with 4 and max length with, let's say, min length with 1 and max length with 4. And let's say our characters are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And actually, I think that's everything that we need. Let's try to run this, and actually we just made a mistake here. So generate bool object is not callable. So I am back, and the pretty easy mistake that I made here, it was that I just used brackets here. It should be not a function, but as argument. So yeah, that's why our program is not working for us. So let's try again. And as you can see now, it will go through all these passwords, as you can see, total passwords, it will show us actually a progress. And if it will find, actually, it just freezed our program. Why? Yeah, because it found our password, and our password is 7890. So as you can see, here is our all progress and some information. So total passwords, passwords that actually passwords that we are trying in 1 second, and actually we found our password 78 and 90. So let's try to open our document, which is protected with this password, so 7890. And as you can see, I am loser here. So that's our password. So yeah, that's how we just cracked our password. And we can actually use much more better passwords. You will see that it can find these passwords. You can actually use word list for this. So to use word list here, we will just specify W and then path to our word list. So just put your word list. We can do this now. So let's try to make, let's see. I have word list here. So just create a little word list. So as you can see with password here, so I will just put this word list into the same directory. So create your word list and put to the same directory. And let's just clear our program because it's a little bit dirty. So we will use now word list to crack our password to actually see if we can crack our password. And we will use path to our word list as you can see, our word list is in the same directory. So I will use just a word list .txt. And as you can see, it was fast because we have only 10 passwords inside, and it found our password 7890. So yeah, pretty good. So our advanced PDF cracker works, and actually, yeah, that's how to create your PDF cracker and PDF protection